On Indiana's education station, a new law will soon directly affect schools in Indiana and who can work for them. State Senator Aaron Freeman sponsored Senate Bill 342, guided it through all the changes in the State House, the session that just wrapped up. Kind of summarize for us what this eventually turned into and how close is it to what you wanted?
Well, first let me say how proud I am that it didn't get a single no vote the entire time. So to go through a legislative process, right, in this environment.
And that's both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, you know, Republicans and Democrats. So I was very grateful for that because, in my opinion, there's nothing more important than protecting our children. So there's just crimes that people commit. I don't believe they should be around our kids. There's crimes that people commit that, you know, are a mistake. And I think when explained and given some context, they're probably very appropriate people to be in front of our kids. And then you see situations like, you know, what happened out in Hendricks County, and it's just egregious. And so anything affecting the health, you know, safety, well-being of a child, I just think, you know, certain folks shouldn't be eligible to be in front of our kids.
It is different than the original version you brought forward. I think I heard you describe it as you came in with a hammer.
Yeah, that's right.
This came out maybe more like a mallet, but it certainly makes changes. But what did happen during the course of the session to convince you maybe back away from some parts, but also stand firm on others?
Yeah, I think it's just the normal legislative process. Everybody has an idea, and then you've got 149 other people and a lot of folks, you know, giving you advice and, you know, where's the sweet spot here? Again, we trust our teachers, you know, we give them our children, and 99.9% of the time that works really, really well. But the time that it doesn't, you know, there's certain things that happen. Again, we've had examples. I had an example in my district that kind of got me on this path a couple of years ago. And it's just when you look at the background of these folks, then you're like, you know, this is really something we should look at. So I think the challenge was to figure out what category of crimes are we going to say, you know, you're just ineligible to be a teacher, versus the crimes that, all right, you got to put some context to this, but you're probably perfectly fine with something to get back in front of our kids.
You know, when things are reduced to a summary or just a headline, the fine points get lost. Is this about hiring new people, or could a school district use this and say you're no longer welcome even though we hired you?
Yeah, both. I mean, it's both. So I think it's great that we're going to look at people on the front end, and we're also going to look at the situations. In my opinion, one of the most under-talked about part of this bill is when you have a teacher that has done something, some misconduct in a school, they were able, with like a non-disclosure type agreement, to go to a different school, and school B could not ask school A, and they couldn't talk about what was in that passed. Well, now they can.
Because it opens up that communication.
And I think so. And again, you know, everybody makes mistakes. I think we just need to talk about it. We need to know what those are, and then people need to have information to make the best possible decision about who needs to be in front of our kids.
Final questions, the other side of this. We have a story this morning about the teacher shortage. Somebody who actually helped you with the idea on the bill talked to us yesterday about the nursing shortage as well. Does this at all contribute to those problems? Are you at all concerned it'll scare people away from saying, whoa, if there's that level of scrutiny, I just don't even want any part of this?
Yeah, I just don't think so. Dr. Angelaw, by the way, was great to work with during this entire process. Great information from her point of view. But look, you don't want some of these people in front of our children. You just don't. I mean, when you have if you've committed a murder, if you've committed, you know, child sex abuse, if you've committed some of these offenses, that's just beyond the pale. And I, you know, as a parent of a 13-year-old and 10-year-old, we don't want our kids in front of some of those folks.
All right, time is short on our conversation today, but this is something that will move forward. July 1st start for this?
Yes.
All right, so July 1st, schools have new rules about who they can and cannot hire. It is also worth noting that there are processes in place whereas the local school could decide for themselves.
That's right.
We're going to consider this, and we have determined that for this situation, it's all right. But thanks for guiding us through an idea that took shape during the State House session and came out with a new law.
Thanks for having me.
Senator Aaron Freeman.